All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Love Tips and Velvet Lips. I am Marla Renee Stewart here today. Happy Pride to talk to you all sorts of different things. We talked about anatomy, we talked about oral techniques last week, and today we are talking about stroking techniques. So, before we get to that, just want to let you all know we do have a pop-up in West Palm Beach. It's called the Pleasure Me pop-up. So Eve and I are hosting this pop-up. It's been amazing. Please check it out at velvetlipsexed.com/pleasureme. And we only have it for this month, y'all. So once this month is done, it is done. If you have questions about anything, please feel free to reach out to me. You can always hit me in my DMs or email gettips@velvetlipsexed.com. If you haven't downloaded your erotic activity bucket list or even your kinky activity bucket list or kinky activity sheet, please make sure you check that out. You can always go to velvetlips.kit.com/VL bucket list. And of course, if you want the latest and greatest news, you can always go to my link in bio, which is pillar.io/velvetlipsexed. That's sex without the E. Okay. And of course, if you want to know what's up and what's going on, you can always check out the calendar at velvetlipsexed.com/calendar. All right, y'all. So today is about stroking techniques. Okay. And this is basically, I'm going to talk to you about how to use your hands for more pleasure, more connection, and more confidence. Okay. So a lot of people think that, stroking is very simple, kind of grab, move, repeat, the same kind of thing. But that is just really kind of like the microwave dinner of pleasure. Okay. A good technique is not just about motion. It's about rhythm. It's about pressure, attention, curiosity, and connection, of course. So whether you are pleasuring yourself, bringing joy to someone else, your hands can become instruments of course, delicious discovery when you slow down, when you pay attention, and learn how to work with the body instead of just doing the same up and down routine until somebody taps out, right? So stroking can be sensual, it can be playful, it can be teasing, it can be grounding, it can be very intense, right? Or it can be very deeply intimate. The magic is knowing that not everybody likes the same thing, of course, and not every moment calls for the same technique. And not every stroke needs to be, a hurry up and race to the finish line, okay? So it's super important to understand and know that. Now, if you haven't upgraded your stroking game, this is the time that you can go ahead and do that. So again, if you're by yourself, that's fine. If you're with someone else, that's perfectly fine too. So why does technique matter, right? We have to understand that stroking is one of the most accessible forms of pleasure, right? And you don't need a fancy setup. You don't need a perfect body. You don't need a complicated performance. You just need, again, presence. You need curiosity. You need communication, okay? And maybe, a good bottle of lube. Good, dabble do ya, okay? The hands are super powerful, right? Because they can adjust quickly. You can change pressure. You can change speed. You can change the angle. You can change the grip. You can change the rhythm. You can change the temperature. And you can focus in real time, okay? That makes stroking one of the easiest ways to really kind of personalize pleasure. But here's where many people go wrong, right? They assume harder, faster automatically means better. And that's not always the case, right? Some people love firm pressure. Other people like lighter or teasing touch, right? Little soft touches. Some enjoy direct stimulation right on the head, while others find that a little too intense. Some love attention around the frenulum, the corona. Of course, those are the favorite spots. Or the shaft, right? While others perform maybe more indirect or full length strokes, right? The best technique is not the one that looks incredibly impressive. It's the best technique that is the one that's going to match the person's body, that's going to match their mood, that's going to match their arousal level, okay? So if we're going to start with the basics, remember I said a dab will do you. So understand that lube is your bestie. So before we even get into specific techniques, let's give lube her flowers, okay? Lube can be stroking smoother, more comfortable, and more pleasurable. It reduces friction. It helps your hands glide and can make sensations feel really, really luxurious. Okay. So even if someone naturally produces moisture or has foreskin that provides movement, lube can still add a whole new layer of slick, silky goodness. So a few quick lube notes, right? One is water-based lube is easy to clean and works with most toys and barriers, right? That's going to be your safest and best bet. Silicone-based lube lasts longer and can feel extra smooth, but you're not supposed to use it with silicone toys unless the toy manufacturer says it's safe, right? Some people do use it. And again, it's going to break and break down or wear down over time, and not necessarily like the sooner the better. So that's something also to be interested in if you're invested on the longevity or shelf life of your toys. Oil-based options can feel rich and sensual, but they are not compatible with latex condoms. So if you're oil-based, make sure you are going to be, you should be fluid-based as well, okay? So, and the goal, remember, is not to kind of drown the body, right? Start with a little, add more as needed, and pay attention to whether like the sensation feels smooth, it feels sticky, maybe too wet, or of course, just right? You want to make sure everything feels just right. So technique one is the slow warm up. You do not have to rush straight to the most sensitive parts. We know what the most sensitive parts are. We talked about it last week. So understand, we don't have to rush towards those parts. That is like walking into a party and immediately turning the music up to max volume before anyone has ever taken off their coat, okay? You want to start slow. Use your hands to explore the surrounding areas first, right? The thighs, the hips, the lower belly, the base, the inner thighs, right? You want to build anticipation before moving into direct stroking. And for the stroke itself, you want to use a nice relaxed hand and gentle grip, right? Move slowly from the base to the tip and back down again. Let the receiver's body respond, okay? Watch for their breathing. Notice their hips. Listen for sounds, okay? You can ask simple questions too, right? You don't have to be like all dirty talking, but you just ask simple questions. You can ask questions like, you want more pressure, less pressure? Do you like this speed? Do you want it slower, right? A good warm-up tells the body, hey, we are not rushing. We are listening, okay? All right, technique two, the classic full-length stroke, right? So the full-length stroke is a foundational technique for a reason, right? It gives consistent stimulation and can feel very grounding, very familiar, very satisfying, okay? So you would wrap your hand around the shaft with a comfortable grip, right? So not loose, not too firm, but just nice and comfortable. Stroke from the base toward the head, then back down again, okay? The key is to avoid becoming robotic. Instead of thinking up, down, 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 think about creating a smooth wave, right? So you can think about speed ups, your speed, like play with speed, slow, medium, fast, and then back slow, right? Pressure, light, medium, firm, okay? Range, full shaft, half shaft, or maybe just focused on the top, right? Rhythm, is it steady? Is it pulsing, right? Is it teasing pauses, right? Is it like a heartbeat, right? The classic stroke is not basic when you know how to add these various keys to variety. So again, speed, pressure, range, and rhythm. Technique three is the twist and glide. I think this is where things get a little bit more interesting because we see this a lot in our erotica films, right? So with a lubed hand, you can stroke upward while adding a gentle twist to the wrist, right? So hopefully you don't have any wrist issues, but it's a nice up and down stroke and there's some twisting action, okay? You use the gentle twist of the wrist. So you're going to think of it as a sort of spiral motion rather than a straight line. So gentle stroke like this, but twist if you're doing a more of a twisting. Okay, you're using that wrist. So this can create more sensation around the shaft and head without needing to increase your speed or pressure. And of course, you can use one hand or two, just depending on what it is. With two hands, you can alternate the twist. So one hand follows the other in a fluid motion. The twist and glide is especially helpful when you want to slow things down, but keep the sensation high, right? It's a great reminder that pleasure does not always need to feel force, right? Sometimes it just needs more creativity, okay? Then there is the head and corona focus, right? So if you're focusing on the head and the corona, they're often highly sensitive. So you have to approach these parts with lots of care, okay? The corona is that, remember, that ridge around the head. So it can respond beautifully to gentle circular strokes or some light pressure or even a slow thumb glide, right? So if you can try using your thumb or the palm of your hand to circle around the head. And you want to, again, keep that soft touch at first. Too much pressure too soon can feel very overwhelming for some people, especially if they are very sensitive. So if the receiver likes direct stimulation, you can add more pressure or speed. And if they pull away, tense up, or stop responding, you got to ease off, right? The head doesn't need to be attacked. It needs to be courted. Okay. So, okay, I went through 4 techniques. Okay. I'm not going to go through the all the different 5 techniques. You can find those on my blog at velvetlipssexed.com/blog. And again, the blog is called Stroking Techniques, How to Use Your Hands for More Pleasure, Connection, and Confidence. So if you want to know the rest of those 5 moves, please make sure you check out that blog. But understand, communication is a technique in and of itself, right? Check in with your lover. Show me how you like it. Do you want more pressure? Is this pace good? Do you want me to keep doing this? And for the receiver, please practice giving clear feedback, right? Slower, stay right there. More lube, please. Less pressure. Or, ooh, keep that rhythm, right? So understand too, when we think about circumcised and uncircumcised bodies, they might need different, they do need different touch. Bodies are different. Again, you have to adapt to the person that you are using for the stroke. And again, don't forget the rest of the body, okay? So in the blog, you'll learn about some common stroking mistakes. So please make sure you check that out. And again, you want to let your hands learn. You want to let your hands be on that body, feel all of those different things. So please, please, please check that out when you get a chance. I would love to hear your thoughts. And again, if you are in Florida, please make your way. DM me. Let me know if you want to come to West Palm Beach for the Pleasure Me pop-up. We would love to have you there. That would be amazing and awesome. So hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. I got to go run and be a part of this podcast. So I will see y'all later. Thank you so, so much for joining me. And I'll see you on the other side. Okay. All right, y'all. Bye.